Okay. You guys back? Let's see. Where's everybody? Only a few people. Ready? Okay. So what we need to do first, we need to add n devices to each LAN. So you go over here, select this wire, and connect it to the switch. It doesn't matter at this point because we don't have VLAN, so you can plug it to any ports we need. No problem. Need to record, huh? So same thing here. This one, this one. Now, if you want, you can put some more. So the objective of this one here is to create a DHCP server to supply this two LANs, LAN 1 and LAN 2. So I need to configure this server as a DHCP server for both LANs. And also we need to configure this router to be the DHCP server for this LAN. Okay? Any question about this one so far? What's given? So now the thing we need to add to this one here is the WAN connection, because we're gonna have one connection. So we're gonna make this one 72. Oops. 72.2.2.0/30. Now, after we configure the DHCP server, we need to create some kind of protocol to go between the two. So maybe I can create a default route. I can create default route this way, okay, and static route that way. Not that way. It looks like it's going up the sky, huh? You know what I mean? You know, we need to do static route this way, okay? All right. So default this way, static route that way. So that's what we're gonna do. First, we need to configure the DHCP server before we do anything. So step number one, I need to go to this particular server and assign static IP address first to the server. So if you go to this server right here and go to the desktop, and the IP address, this one on subnet 192.168.1.0. So what we're going to do is give it 192.168.1.10. And this one, we can assume the gateway 168.1.1. I don't care at this point about the DNS. Now, what we need to do, we need to go to services and go to DHCP server because this is IPv4. So we can put it on. Then we need to go to default gateway, which is 192.168.1.1. DNS, you can put whatever you want. Okay, okay. Now, start IP address, you need to always look for the given. So if they tell you to start with 20 or reserve the first 20 address or 19 address, if we need to start with 20, so put 20 in here. And you save it. Okay, so this is one requirement to create the DHCP for this LAN and this. So now I need to create pool for LAN 2. So I need to go here and I put LAN 2 pool. And basically I'm gonna do the same setting. And I'm gonna put 2 instead of 1. So this is 2, because this is for LAN 2. And this is 2 right here. And the same setting here. Maybe over here I want to reserve the first 15 addresses or 14 addresses. So for 15, start with 15 and save. Or maybe 10. Because this one, let's say 10 or 9. See? Doesn't matter. You follow the instruction, whatever the time. So we need to add this one here and save. Now at this point, we can test this side if it gets an IP address from the DHCP server, because all the clients connected to the same switch, which is layer 2. So we expect PC1 and PC0 to have an IP address. But we're not going to expect any DHCP communication between these two PCs because they're all on a different subnet. So we go to PC0 and test it. We go DHCP, and here we go. We have one that's working here. This guy is supposed to be working too. Okay, so this is good. Now, for the DHCP server over here to talk to this guy here, we need to configure the these two interfaces in here, and we need to configure gigabit 0/1 with IP helper address for DHCP relay in IPv4. So first of all, we need to configure these two interfaces. So we need to go to this router right here. And we need to say enable config key config key host name. This is also 1. And we need to go to the interface, which is gigabit 0. Let me put something in my keyboard so I can have better control of it. Okay. Let's see if we can do that. Yeah, I can elevate it a bit. Gigabit 0/0. Okay, so this is 192.168.1.1. This is 255.255.0. No shutdown. Okay, and I can go to interface gigabit 0/1 and put IP address 192.168.2.255.255.255.0. No shutdown. Okay. Now, since I'm here, also let me configure this one here, 0/0/0. So we go to interface S0/0/0 IP address 72.2.2.1 255.255.255.252, because this is the /30. And no block rate here, so put no shutdown. And exit, go in at this point. Show IP interface read, you see. So I have this one is up, this one's up, and this one is still down because the other end is still down. So now, since I'm in this router, I need to configure this interface to be like to help the client here to communicate with the DHCP server. So let's see. There. Okay, I can change this one and call it DHCP server. Alrighty. So go over here. You go to interface gigabit 0/1. Oh, let's take 2 first. Let's take interface gigabit 0/1. And to say IP helper address, and we need to point it to this DHCP server. So what's the IP address for this guy here? 192.168.1.10. Okay. So now I can test this guy here. PC3 and PC2 if they get an IP address because we enable IP helper address on this one. Now PC2, PC3, they should get an IP address. Let's test it. Okay. Now this guy is gonna send the broadcast up to here. Over here is gonna receive the broadcast and going to forward it to the DHCP server. Let's see. Hopefully, yes. Now it's working. So this is good to test your configuration at each stage, so you know what's the problem. So now it's working. So now what we need to do, we need to configure this interface and this one here. So we go to this router, and this is router 2. Enable on KT host name router 2. We need to configure the interface S0/0/0 and this one has a clock rate 64,000. We're gonna put the IP address 72.2.2.2. And a subnet mask 255.255.252 that's 530, and we need to bring it up so no shutdown. Okay, so now this is good. Now we need to go and configure this guy here, a gigabit Ethernet. So interface gigabit 0/0 IP address 192.168.3.1 255.255.255.0 no shutdown. Okay. So what we need to do any question? Somebody saying something? You can see the screen I'm doing or not? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can see. I got everything up to here.
Okay, so that's good. So now we need to configure this router to be DHCP for this LAN here, for LAN 3. So we need to call this one LAN 3, LAN 3. Okay, so go back to this router. We need to put exit. Okay, so IP DHCP. Okay, this is how you start. Always IP DHCP. And you don't know what to do at this point. You put question mark, and you have 3 options. You have excluded address, pool, and relay. So we need to exclude first, because that's number 1. Once you set up DHCP, you cannot go back and exclude. So we need to exclude excluded address. Maybe I want to exclude 192.168.3.1. Okay. And also I want to exclude the last one, 254. Okay. So you can exclude a whole range if you want, or you can exclude separate, one at a time. So it depends on the requirement. So maybe I want to exclude the first and the last. Now after that, what you do, right?
Real quick question. If you're excluding a range, do you just put a space and then the other IP address and then it's everything in between those two, or?
Yeah, let's do that. IPDSP excluded. So we excluded the one. So now I'm going to exclude from 192.168.3.2, let's say, space 192.168.3.9. Okay. So
Okay, and then that'll do like 2 to 9 and then everything in between those as well?
yes. So
Okay, thank you.
the range between. So I excluded one. Now I exclude two. It's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the first IP address is going to be issued is 10 all the way to 253. 254 is going to be excluded too. So that's the range. Now I need to create a pool. So IP DHCP. Again, if you don't know what to do, you put question mark, you put pool. And you need to give it a name. So we're going to put it LAN 3 pool. Okay, now you need to tell it what network this pool it belongs to. So if you put the question mark here, it's going to tell you the network. See that? And of course, you can put the domain and all the options, and default routers, and all that stuff. So we're going to put the network 192.168.3.0. Now over here, you have to put the net mask, which is, I think you have to put let's see, 192. I think you have to put the word mask. Let's see, 192.168.3.0. Oh, sorry. 255.255.255.0. And now we need to put the default router right here. So default router 192.168.3.1. And you can put the DNS server. You can put 8.8.8.8. Let's see if we can put another DNS server. Say in the real configuration, you're supposed to put 8.8.4.4. Doesn't take it, so I have to do it on 2 lines. Let's see. DNS server. Let's put 8.8.4.4. Okay, so and also you can put the domain name. xyz.com, whatever. So we're done. We're done with this one here. So now we expect these machines here, PC 5 and 4, to get an IP address from this pool. So let's see. Stop. And we expect the first address to be .10. And that's 10 because we excluded from 1 to 9. And notice over here it took the last DNS server. Now, I mean, this is maybe packet tracer limitations, but usually you can put multiple DNS server on that configuration. So now we did everything we need to do on the router. So the question is, how am I going to allow communication between this LAN here and the rest of them? So we need some kind of routing. If you go back here, let me exit this one here or end it, save it. Now if you put IP or show IP route, so I don't have any route to any of these, to LAN 2 or LAN 3. Okay, all I have the connected network to router 2. So how I need to create? I need to create a static route this way. I'm going to go and put config t and put IP route to 192.168.1.0 with 255.255.255.0. So I'm going to go to 192.168.1.0 right here. And I am over here. How am I going to go there? So I'm going to use the next hop address, which is this guy here, which is 72.2.2.1. And that's the IP address of this interface right here. Same thing. If I want to go to 192.168.2 right here, I'm going to use the same going this way too. So that's my two static routes to from router 2 to LAN 1 and LAN 2. So now if I put in save it, I'll put show IP route. So I have two static routes right here going to the same interface. So this is 192.168. If I want to go to 192.168.0/24, my administrative distance is 1, my cost is 0, and I'm going to use the next hop address to reach it, which is 72.2.2.1. Same thing here. If I'm going to go to 2, 192.168.2.0, which is layer 2, my administrative distance is 1, my cost is 0, I'm using 72.2.2.1 to reach that. Okay? Now, I'm going to go to router 1, and I'm going to create a static route here, a default route, so click enable, config T, and I'm going to say IP route. I want to go to any network with any subnet mask. You need to go through S0 right here, through this IP address, next hop address, which is 72.2.2.2. Okay, so let's end this guy here and let's save it. I'll put show IP route. Now I'm going to see S with asterisk in it, which is this one here. That means if you want to go to any network, you always go this way. So, question now. Can I communicate with all these networks? All this PC? Can PC4, for example, talk to PC0 or talk to the DHCP server here? The answer is yes. So how we can test it? We can go to this machine, for example, and I know the IP address for this guy here, which is ping 192.168.1.10. And here it is. And also, I know the first IP address, one of those guys has that pin, so I can go from here. And I can ping, also I should be able to ping 192.168.3. That's it. So, question at this point.
I got mine configured.
You got yours configured that way? That was the test actually I uploaded, but if you're ready, that's fine. But for tomorrow, I'm gonna change it. So it's gonna be the same thing, but it's gonna be different numbers. So yes, is that you, Dylan? Who took the skill? See, one person took the skill. That's it. Okay, so now let's see what else we can. Give me 1 second. Put my thoughts together. Let's see. What chapter is this? 9. Yeah. Oh, this is 8. Now, chapter 9 talks about different things. I don't think I'm gonna. Let's see. This is chapter 9. Talk about the FHRP, which is. Let's see. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna ask you any questions about this one here, but we already talked about it. But we can configure it if you want. We can configure FHSRP. You can see what we're talking about. This is part of the test. Let's see. So for okay, so how about if I'm going to create redundancy over here? Okay, so basically what I'm going to need to do, maybe put a, as I know, it's better to start from scratch. Okay, so I'm going to do a different network. Let's say we have this router here. And another router. Another router. This is going to be like a WAN actually. Okay. And this is going to be, this one and this one is going to be on the same network. So what we do, we need to put 2960, connect these two routers to it, gigabit 01 to gigabit 00, and 1 here, gigabit 00. Okay. So these are in the same LAN. And for example, you might have multiple clients here, if you want, at the bottom. So the idea of HSRP, like this one here, is to have a backup route. So if, for example, let me connect those together. Let's see, this is fast Ethernet, this is fast Ethernet. Some people say, okay, if I don't have this leg here, and even if we have it here, this guy's here, if they want to go anywhere to communicate outside of their network, they have to go through a gateway. So I need to assign a specific gateway to go. So let's say this is 192.168.10.0/24. This is my network. Okay, so if this is .1, that means any of this when I go outside, I need to configure them with gateway .1. But even if I have a multiple path to go through this one here, but this one is configured, you only can configure it with one gateway. It's not like DNS. DNS, I can put multiple DNS on the client. I cannot put multiple gateway on the client. So that's why we have to use the HSRP to create something we call a virtual IP. So we need to put a virtual IP or virtual router. And then I can connect, let me see first what we need to do here. We need to shut down this server right here, this router. And serial link this way. And same thing with this guy here. We need to shut it down and put this one here. Okay. This is on, yes. The same thing with this guy here. I'm trying to simulate. Oh, this is a different router. Let's put it all the same router, would be better. So we need to put 2911. And we need to connect it with WAN connection. Shut it down right here. And plug this guy here. I can use the, the others, Ethernet, but it's better to represent actually WAN connection. So I'm going to connect this one with serial/0/0 to router 1. Same thing in here. I put a clock rate on this guy here. This goes to serial 0. Testing purposes, I want to use this stuff. Fast Ethernet, 2 gigabit. So now I need to put basically this portion here is not accurate what we're doing, but it's semi-accurate to represent a WAN, okay? So this is like a WAN. So we need to come up with the IP addresses. Let's use 72 like we use in the other one, 2.2.0/30. And over here we use 72.2.2.4/30. That's my network IDs. And over here we can use your favorite address, 10.10.10.0/24. Okay. So this is the network ID for this segment. This is the network ID for this segment, and this is the network ID for this segment. And of course, over here we're using 192.168.10.0. Now, the question is, what do I need to configure all this one here? We need to come up with, let's say we assign this particular interface with .1, and this interface with .2. Okay, and the virtual router, I'm going to assign it with .3. That's my virtual router. So the question is, how am I going to configure, what address I need to configure the gateway on each one of them? Now I'm going to configure with .3, not .1, not .2. Because that's the virtual router. is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to, if this thing goes down, then I'm going to go this way. If this thing goes down, then I'll go this way. So that's what we need to configure it with HSRP. So let's do that. First of all, and let's create, let me configure this router here. With this server with 192.168.10.10. Okay, that's the tricky part right here. So I'm going to configure the router to be 192.168.10.3, because that's a virtual address. Because this guy's going to have virtual address in virtual MAC address. And we need to configure that these two routers are here as HSRP. That's what we're going to do next. So let's do that. So let's go first to this router and configure all the interfaces. Let's say config the router hostname router 1 and get interface. We get it 0/0. We're gonna call that IP address 192.168.10.1 255.255.255.0. No shutdown to bring it up. Well, also I'm going to configure it with the serial right here. So interface S0/0/0 IP address 72.2.2.1. Okay. 255.255.255.0. No shutdown. Okay. So also we can configure it with HRP. So I need to go to interface gigabit 0/0. I need to put standby. I need to give a group. Okay, standby group. We're gonna call it 1. Put enter. Oh, question mark here. So at this point, I need to put the IP address for that. I need to put a priority. And I think I need to put standby. Let me see. Maybe let me see something. I'll put standby. Question mark. Before I do that, I need to put the version. Okay, so I like to do version 2. Version 2. Now I put it in the group standby 1. Then you're gonna put the IP. Now let's say the IP. IP is 192.168.10.3. Okay. So now also I have an option to do what we call preemption, but at this point I'm not going to do the preemption until I bring that link up. But I'll come back to it. Preemption means you configure it if you do if something happened to that link, so you can decrement the priority by 10 points or so. And also I have an options to do you put standby 1 question mark, and you can set up a priority, because at this point the priority is what? The priority is 100 by default, and we're going to see it in a few seconds. So I'm going to skip that part for right now. Now I configure the other portion. Exit. Let's put N, and we'll like to say. So I'm going to do the same thing in the other side right here. Any question at this point? Say no. Enable, we're gonna do config key. Host name, router 2. And we're gonna go to interface, gigabit, 0/0. You know the trend. Configure the IP address. So you're gonna do this same scenario for now till semester 3, I guess. What's the IP address for this guy? We say 192.168.10.2, because I assigned that 2 right here. 255.255.255, that's 0. And of course, we need to no shutdown. And also, I need to configure the serial link, which is S0/0/0, and I'm going to give it to IP address. Well, this is a different network here, so it's going to be 72.2.2.1.5. Because the next available address for this segment is 5. 255.255.255.252. And it's no shutdown. So now I'm going to go back to the gigabit 0/0. So gigabit 0/0. Let's see. Oh, here's gigabit 0/0. And standby version 2. Now, standby group 1 IP 192.168.10.3. And that's the virtual IP. Here. Now, so basically, what we have done so far, I configured the gateway on this LAN here with that 3. Now, one of these routers is going to be the boss. It's going to be the active router or the standby router. That's why we use the word standby. So, which router is going to be the active one? Which one is going to be the standby? So, the active router that has the highest priority is going to act as the active router. But we know both routers by default, they have priority 100. So as we can see, let's end here, or if you do show standby, sorry, wait. Okay, as you can see right here, they say the standby router is the local one, which is router 2. Why? And the priority is 100. Because since both routers has priority 100, then the router with the highest IP address is going to be the active router. And the router with the lowest IP address is going to be the standby. Because both of them have the same priority. So how are we going to break the tie? Because they are tied in the priority. The way we break the tie is the router that has the highest IP address, which is that 2 is higher than that 1. Therefore, this will become the active. This will be the standby. And as you can see here, the standby router is local. Oh, this is not accurate, actually. Where's the, okay, let's repeat the active router is 192.161. Shouldn't be that the case. Let's see. Show IP interface. Oh, this is router 2, which is correct. How about router 1? Show interface. So yeah, show IP. Okay. Show standby. Show standby. So what they say in here, it's the opposite of the rule because it said the standby is here, not 2, which in reality is supposed to be where? Supposed to be, this one's supposed to be the active, this is going to be the standby. So let's do R to save, and do the same thing in here. And let's reload to force the election. See if this is going to make any difference. Okay, GRP. Okay, let's see. Enable, show standby. Show standby. Okay, now it's different. Now we're gonna have to go to result. Now, active router is local, which is this one here. And the reason why we expect that to be the active one because it has the highest. Now, what happens if I go over here and change the priority? So if you go to this guy here, now this guy is the standby, as you can see right here. So if you put show standby, and the active router is 192.168.10.2, which is router 2, and the standby is the local one, which is router 1. So I want to change that result by increasing the priority on router 1. So if I go to config T, go to interface gigabit 0/0, and I put standby 1, a priority 105 or 103, doesn't matter. Let's say 105. Okay. And put in and save it. Now show standby. Okay, so preemption disable, active router is still the other one. So to force the election, I need to reload it. Reload. Now, after reload, they're going to negotiate. They're going to send a message to each other to see which one has the highest priority, and this guy is going to win. Why? Because I increased the priority to 105 instead of 100. So this guy is going to be the standby, and this guy, we expect this guy to be standby, and this is going to be the active one. Let's see. Confirm. How much time we have? Somebody say, I thought you said the test 7 and 9 were Tuesday. Who's this? Okay. You're going to have it Tuesday. Tomorrow. But this skill here is not part of your skill. Only you need to do that basically. So now, as you can see, we have enable show what? standby. And now this is the active one. And the reason why, because it has higher priority than router 2. So if I'm here, this is assigned with the gateway.3. So since this one is the active one, so if server 0 wants to talk to server 1, it's going to take this path. Okay. Now I'm coming back here, I don't know. It might take this path or that path because it's equal cost this way. Depends on the routing protocol, how this is configured right here. But this guy's going to go this way first. Always going to take this one as a gateway. Why? Because this is the active one. And if you click on this guy here, the way we configured it, we put that 3 is a gateway. That 3 really is a virtual router. I mean, imagine you have another router here, we call it a virtual router. And that's how we assign our client. One more thing you need to pay attention to, the MAC address. The MAC address, when you do standby, what's the MAC address? Notice that the active virtual MAC address is 000OC9FF001. That's always you're going to see MAC address in this form as 0C9F. And that's the virtual MAC address. Oh, Zach took the skill? Okay, that's fine. You don't have to take it again. So, for the test tomorrow is going to be chapters 7 through 9. Anybody took the online test? I see only one person.
I took the online test.
Yeah, I also took the online test.
You took it?
Yes, sir. It was just a skills test.
Yeah, I just finished up the skills.
Okay, so only take a fee. How did you do the online test? You guys pass it or have problem with it?
Yeah, I think I got a 90 something.
Good. If you did well, that's fine. Now, tomorrow you take the skill portion, which is based on what we explained on the first section, right here, on the DHCP server, not this section. And the reason why I'm not worried about this section yet, but because we're gonna go over it in semester 3. At this point, it's just to let you know this topic is because we can create redundancy on layer 2 by adding a link, which is no problem, using the STP. But we cannot create redundancy on layer 3 because you only configure with one gateway. So the only way you can do redundancy on layer 3 is to create a virtual router, or to have a virtual router implemented HSRP. That's how it's done. To configure a standby, like what we did on these 2 routers. Any question at this point? Any question about the test tomorrow? So we all on the same page?
Sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody?
No, I was just saying we're on the same page.
Okay, that's good. So tomorrow I'm going to give you a skill based on this. It's going to be similar to this one here, but different IP addresses. And you take, if you didn't take the online test, you take it tomorrow, and also you can take the skill test. Let me see how many took the online test. So we can be on the same page. I don't know why. Somebody said, well, we have a test today, and I know I get messed up between the two classes. Oh, let's see. Let me pause recording here for 1 second. Pause. See? Okay, this is whatever from on your Cisco site. Ready? Okay, this is INT 2111. Let's say we have grades. This is a chapter what? 7 to 9. Modules 5 to 6, 7 to 9. Yeah, I said the majority took it. It's the okay, Alex and Mixzito. Okay, so we got 2 people didn't take the online test. Or 3 people actually, because Brenda was sick. So tomorrow, as usual, I'm going to activate the test at 9:15. So you jump on it on 9:15. You take the online test. And also, I'm going to activate at the same time the skill test. And I'm going to increase the skill test till 12 o'clock. Okay, so you have from 9 to 12 to take it. 9:15 to 12. So, any questions? You on the same page?
No, sir, no questions.
Okay, is that going to work for everyone? So the skill really shouldn't take you long. It's based on this one here, on the first section. Shouldn't take you long to do that. All right, if you don't have a question, Wednesday, we're going to start chapter 10 and go from there. And if you have a question, let me know. All right, guys. See you tomorrow. Or you can take the test tomorrow. All right.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Going.